lives, you can live a victorious life. It will happen. And then you pray.
Straight path.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot. That's a whole
And
lot.
it will enable us to serve him the right way by being a blessing to others.
There you go. That light and love.
Yeah, and all the things that we are looking after or chasing after will be added to us when we put him first.
And then we're going to talk about how to bring God into your relationships, whether it's your marriage, friends, things like that. Then we're going to talk about one that people may struggle with. Maybe they won't, is how to bring God into your career, whether you're a home-based business, whether you're in an office, whether you're on the road, just how do you bring, God into your job. So let's get this started. Jenny, from a personal basis, how do we bring God into our personal lives? If we've, first of all, for those that are watching out there, God is already inside.
Yeah.
He's already inside.
Yeah, we just have to seek him first.
Right. I mean,
seek God first.
And it was a word that I came up with this morning that kind of downloaded me is how do you activate God? Because he's already in you. He was born in you. He's part of your DNA. And what's that scripture that you were talking about this morning?
It's Matthew 6:33.
Well, go ahead and read the scripture.
Seek first the kingdom of God.
It's like turning on a light switch.
Activate means
you
have to pray.
Well, how do you do that? Tell us how you activate
before
God.
You wake up in the morning, first thing you do is kneel down and pray. Talk to God so that your day will be peaceful. You're gonna experience peaceful happenings, and whatever you do, it's gonna go well. It's gonna go well. So just start prayer in the morning. That's like a habit, That's how you build a relationship with God.
Make it a habit.
Yeah, you have to talk to him every single day. Whatever you do the whole day, whatever, if you have to do something like important, talk to him. God, is this okay? Is this good for me? Just have a conversation with God. That means you're including him in everything you do.
So first of all, starting without a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Just a conversation.
God is your friend. Just treat him like your father and a friend.
Okay.
I talk to God like that.
Well, now, as far as the Bible, most folks have read the Bible. They're familiar with what the Bible is. Some folks haven't read the Bible. So, I would say that if you don't feel like you're close to God and you haven't activated him inside, or you activate it and then you deactivate it, again, you don't have to go looking for God. It doesn't take an organization. It doesn't take a social group, a place. A church is a fantastic place to get fellowship and guidance, but you don't need to go anywhere to look for God. You can find that. He's already inside
in your heart.
So you got to find God first. So you found him.
Seek
ye first. So now just activate. So, but let's talk about the Bible, where folks, if they've activated God, or if they deactivated that spirit inside of them, what do they do with the Bible? That's a good way to bring that knowledge into your heart. And I would say that, for a time to when I kind of fell away from God and I deactivated that spirit, I decided to put a curtain between the knowledge I had for many years and the knowledge I was pushing away.
Why? Because you got discouraged with life?
Well, and we'll talk about with, secondly, with relationships and jobs and why I got discouraged in different things. But I found out for me that the easiest way to activate God was when I was willing to. I trusted that God was already inside me. Whether I could see through that curtain I put up or not, that didn't matter. I took trust. So I opened up the Bible, and there's nothing wrong with opening it up and reading a scripture and letting it guide you. That's important. But I would say that if you're looking to activate God or reactivate God, open up the first page of the Bible and read it just like a book, because it is a book.
And before you pray, before you read, you always pray first.
Always pray.
God will bring the Holy Spirit. He will guide you through it.
Yep. Well, and Christ talks about education and learning and growing, and if you want to learn more or activate that spirit, that voice, activates your soul, that we can talk more at another time. Reading the Bible from cover to cover, you'd be surprised at the people I talk to that are solid churchgoers, they're solid Christians, but they have never read the Bible 20, 30, 40 years. They've picked scriptures out or books and they've studied. But if you ask them, have you ever read the Bible? It is shocking to me to see, no, I've never read the whole Bible.
We talking about that, we have to start that sooner, from Genesis to Revelation again.
We do. Jenny and I read the Bible in the mornings. Now we're going through
we just finished Revelation.
We did.
Now we have to go back to Genesis again to start over.
We do.
Yeah.
We're finishing another book now that talks about God, and those are some things we can go there that can help bring you into closer to God. But so staying on track here, because I'll go off track and come back.
That's okay. It has something to do with our topics.
It does. So how do we bring God into our personal life? One, first you want to, just get up in the morning,
acknowledge God,
show gratitude, acknowledge, man, that's a good thing.
Uh-huh.
So acknowledge it. You want to activate that voice, that soul of yours, that voice you're hearing inside. And then you want to get around a group of people that are like-minded, that are Christians.
Invited him to
be a part of that.
Yeah, today they're gonna have some dinner or something.
Yeah, over at a coffee house. And it's kind of a cool deal because it's that fellowship that brings people. So fellowship's important. Finding God, we're going to talk about now. After you find it yourself, activate that, look in the mirror, know that God is inside of you. You don't have to go look for God. Too many people want to go outside and look for God. And where's he at? Or they go to a church to look for God. God is within you.
Find it here.
That's where he's at.
In here.
And then the fellowship to help feel celebrated, because go where you're celebrated. Find a group of people where you're celebrated.
Can help you lift
you
up and be around Christian people.
Well, yeah, and also be that light and love. You're going to learn and we're going to talk about that as we take this into, now that you've learned a little bit on waking up and the steps that you can do to have conversations with God, to be grateful for the things you have and the things you're going to have. All those different things. Reading the Bible, activating God, looking inside, look in the mirror, and you'll see God. He's right there. Just look in your soul. Look deep through it. Now, how do you bring God? Now, this is interesting. How do you bring God into your friendships? And this is, Jenny, this is different because there's two situations. There's one situation that said, I've been in a group of friends and we've never brought God into that. So we've got that group of people. And then we've got, a group of people that you are maybe mixed beliefs. And how do you bring God into those mixed beliefs? And
just be a good example, and they will notice you different. They'll notice the good things about you, and then they will become curious, and they will probably approach you. Hey.
Well, what's going to happen, because there's so many worries today of, I've got this group of people, Jenny, and I've been friends with them for 10, 20 years. And now I want to find Christ. Now I looked in the mirror one morning and I decided to activate Christ in my life. He's been in there. I turned him on. Now I can look in the mirror and see God. Now I go to my group of friends and my awareness, there's another word. My awareness is different now. I'm aware of the energy around. I'm aware of how much more of a happier life I've been feeling since I put God in my life. But when I sit with my group of friends, they haven't activated God in their life, and they aren't ready to. So what's going to happen with those group of friends? I mean, what's your thought?
Well, you're going to start inviting them to your home, make them comfortable.
Well,
that's a start. You just need to make them trust you, and then slowly you can talk about God.
Well, and that's
so
true.
That they won't get offended.
No.
People will get offended when they don't believe about God. And some of them are atheists. I met some atheist people.
Well, and again, there's nothing wrong. We don't judge anyone.
Yeah, we don't.
Not at all. But this is what I've seen happen. I think you've watched it with us as we've grown. As our awareness grows, we're going to, by total change, leave some people behind. You got to be willing to understand that if you're, the story goes that if you walk into a room with 5 drug dealers and you're the 6th one, you're the next drug dealer. Uh-huh. If you walk into a room with 5 Christians and you're the 6th one, you're the next Christian.
You need to be able to stand up for God, whether you have to give up something. If that something is not good in your life,
right,
you have to be willing to give it up, whether it's going to be your friends, your job, your relationship.
Well, and it can be a challenging choice.
It is.
Because
be strong.
Yeah, follow God and be strong. Listen to that voice, because the reality of it is that you are the 5 people that you hang around with the most.
Mhm.
That's who you become. So if you've got a group of people that, and there's no judgment here.
No.
We're not telling people they have to follow God. They're good or bad if they don't. We're just saying the social groups are going to change. If you decide all of a sudden now that you want to be a Christian and you're all in, there was a movie called Fireproof, and where the star of the movie it came and he decided he wanted to be a Christian, and he went to his coworker that was a fireman, and he was a solid Christian. He was all in, and he said, hey, I want to talk to you about your faith. And he goes, well, what about it? And he goes, well, hey, I'm all in. I'm in. And he goes, oh, are you all in or you half? Because you can't be half in. You're either all in or you're not. You got to be all in. And that's really the secret to pretty much everything in life. But as we talk about Christianity and being a Christian, you're all in. So what may happen due to consequences, some of those people may leave your life.
Mhm.
As far as a closeness,
That happens to us already.
yeah, I mean, you still bump into them. You could still have coffee with them, but they may decide to leave your life. And I've even had people ask me early on when I became a really solid Christian, when I was hanging out with different folks, when I wasn't going over to the barbecues and just sitting around throwing horseshoes and drinking beer all the time. And we're not judging that, but
You have to change your environment.
I changed what I wanted to do with
Yes.
my life. That activation activated a different path. Yeah, that's better, a different path.
Mhm.
And I wasn't on that path anymore. And my friends were like, Greg, hey, what happened? Dude, you were throwing parties all the time. You were over here all the time. What happened?
You changed.
And I went, you know what? I decided to take a different path. And you know what was interesting is every one of those friends of mine were excited for me.
Uh-huh.
They had respect. They didn't want to go down that path, but they respected how I felt. Now,
Yeah. In the moment you put God first in your life, there's a lot of benefits that will come. First of all, you will be able to experience happiness, peace in your life, and then living a victorious life.
well,
And sorry guys, I'm still trying to get used to my new teeth.
Jenny's doing something awesome. You want to talk a little louder though.
And then God will make your path straight. Just put Him first.
Yeah.
God has always a good idea in your life, so we must put Him first.
Well, and
I know I talk weird right now.
She's doing
because
amazing.
I got my new teeth done.
You got some new. Yeah, she got her teeth all fixed up, so she's talking a little different. The spaces that were there aren't there anymore. So that awareness is changing.
That's why I don't talk a lot right now. I'm trying to, but.
So, but here's what's interesting.
Yeah, wait. So I was talking about all these benefits of putting God first. Putting Him first, you're able to experience happiness, peace, and in your lives, you can live a victorious life. It will happen, and then God will make your path straight
path.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot.
And it will enable us to serve Him the right way by being a blessing to others.
There you go. That light and love.
Yeah, and all the things that we are looking after or chasing after will be added to us when we put Him first.
Well, let me say something here. Yes. And you know what? There's two different things. One, some of the biggest things that I struggle with, but I see as I talk with a lot of people that we work with or just general people, everybody seems to worry about what people think about them. Well, here's the truth. It's none of your business what anyone thinks about you. It isn't. It's absolutely none of your business what anyone thinks about you. It's not your concern. It's none of your business. The only thing that could be your interest, if you ever decide that, is that you're only interested in what people think of themselves. How can you help them feel better by living a Christ-like life or having light and love that when you walk, you're like a lighthouse and people want to come to you and maybe they don't even know why. But if you can, as you walk your walk every day, as you start to become a Christian and you come to God individually, you bring Him into your relationships. We'll talk about here next about how to bring Him into your career. The first thing, it's none of your business what people think about you. And people get so worried about what if they think this, what if they think that, what if they think this. The minute you can decide, I don't care what those people think about me at all, because it's none of my business. Yeah. It's not my right. That's not really what it is at all. And I'll say something that's it's in the Bible that a lot of people kind of struggle with is, honestly, Christ didn't really care what we thought of him. He didn't. He would have been an emotional wreck if he worried about what the world thought of him. What he worried about was what you thought about you. And
he's worried about you.
And he walked in light and love. He still does. And he worries about what can I do to help you feel better about you. Now, you're not out saving the world. We'll do that on another talk one day where you're not going to go out and save the world. But when you can stop worrying about what people think of you and understand that it's none of your business, there, Jenny and I will give you permission. You don't have to worry about what anybody thinks about you. It's not your business to do that. And, and the next one It's, in Solomon, it talks about, in all you're gaining, get understanding. Though it may cost you everything, get understanding. And when you start to understand why having God is so important in your life, to whatever level you decide to, there's many different names. There's Allah, there's Buddha, there's Christ, there's Jehovah. Whatever, how you represent that. Some people look at God as the universe. Some people look at God as Mother Earth. Whatever energy you draw from, that energy that you're going to pull from is going to give you the understanding so you can gain more. But, I guess that's the biggest thing is when you go into your friendships, no, things are going to change. And then it's none of your business what they think about you. And if they're really your true friends, they're going to be excited that they see that change.
Yeah.
They are.
So guys, seeking God's kingdom before anything else enable God to be our sole provider.
It is.
He is our sole provider. It is also a solid foundation for building a healthy spiritual life. So we must put God first.
Now let's talk about the next one. And this may not have been as much of a challenge over the last 3 years, but in general, how do you bring God into your career? How do you bring God into your work, into your office? Jenny, you worked you worked in a hospital. You were in more of a corporate environment than I was.
Yeah, when I used to work there, most people believe in God, so I didn't have a problem about it. But I didn't have a really bad experience because most of them believe God. What about you?
Well, did you respect the people that just wanted nothing to do with God? You still were there for them. You still talked with them. You didn't judge them.
No.
You didn't tell them.
Never judge people.
Right.
Oh.
Okay, good deal. Well, for me, I haven't been in the corporate world for a long time. I was in the military, and that really is that's not really the corporate world. That's a different world. And having God, when I was in the military, bringing him into my career as a fireman was a part of our teaching, to be honest with you. I mean, whether you were an atheist or when we went into battle, the story was there's never an atheist in a foxhole. And it was a joke with a friend of mine. He says he's an atheist, but and that's okay. There's no question on that. His belief is in Mother Earth and the universe, which is very similar to what we believe. It's the same thing. There's an energy that he believes in, and I think that's awesome. But I didn't have that experience in the military. There wasn't a concern about bringing God. But when I ran across people that were of a different faith, or I even say a different faith by not believing in God. That's a different faith system. We just didn't judge. We didn't worry about it. If we did prayer groups, after hours, in the cafeteria, at the firehouse. If we wanted to say a prayer in the volleyball court before we prayed or before we played, definitely we would pray before we went to fire. As we were going, we didn't get around the circle. We didn't have time for that, but that part wasn't a problem. Now, when I went into the corporate world for a little bit before I opened up my own business again, I tried working for a corporation for a while, did very well, and then pulled out and decided to open up my own company. But there was a time there that because of the faith I was involved, it's one of the largest churches in the world, very well known. There was a gentleman in the office that just did not like that church and actually harassed me and my family for a year. He mailed letters to my house. He would call and hang up. At work, he would tell us how bad we were. But I didn't leave my faith. I stood up to it.
A persecution.
Yeah, well, it was interesting.
Well, did you experience that?
Yeah, I mean, so I went.
Know how to handle it later.
Well, I did, and I stood with God, and I had confident conversations.
The important part is you have to know how to stand up. You have to stand up for God, no matter what.
You did.
Don't be scared.
But in your job and careers, that you may, during the day, you may not be able to have a prayer group in your boardroom. Who knows? Maybe you can. If you want to have fellowship in your corporate office,
encourage them.
It can be encouraged. But the one thing that I'll caution you on is just make sure that you talk to the person above you to say, listen,
just our respect.
At lunch today, we'd like to do a prayer group over in our cubicle or in the conference room for 30 minutes.
Yeah, but if they don't want to, don't force it.
If they say, okay.
Hey,
it's not, we just don't do that here. I mean, I'm a Christian myself, but we just don't want to, roll the waves. Then don't do that. Then go out to lunch.
In your room.
Then go out to lunch, and you can go to a coffee shop and have a quick prayer group. But you can continue to pray. Now, there are a lot of offices now that I'm learning more and more over the years that when you ask those questions and you respect the work environment, you go to the boss that is following it, whether he or her have activated that spirit. Generally, a lot of folks are saying, listen, if you want to do those, they'll encourage you to do it at a coffee shop first. But if there's a boardroom and there's just a few of you, he may tell you, listen, if there's 4 or 5 of you that want to do that, that's fine. But I'd ask that you not go around the office trying to build your group. Do that out of the office. And so there's ways to do that to where you can respect your environment, because standing up for God is also respecting your environment.
Yes.
And it's not just, I'm a Christian, I'm going to walk, because I've also seen folks walk into their corporations all of a sudden, especially the ones that, that have just activated God. They're so excited and they're so on fire that now they've gone from out smoking and drinking and cheating on their spouses, various different things, to now they're cleaning their lives up and now they want to convert the whole building. And that's exciting, but you've got to understand that there's a way to do things, and Christ even showed us the way to do things. And just understand that excitement is better done by leading your life with light and love. So when you all of a sudden activate that with Christ, and you start coming to the office, or you're out and about, whether you're a realtor, whether you're a car salesman, whatever it is, after a few weeks, people are going to see a new light and love in you, and they're going to say, Jenny, what's different about you? Man, you're not going out with the guys, and the gals anymore. You're not. We don't hear any more hush hush about sneaking off into the janitorial closet with Bill anymore. Are you going off in the closet with Bill? We don't even have a janitorial closet. Come on. But people are going to notice that
no more chismes.
No more chismes.
We're talking about others.
Yeah, that it's hey,
we don't like that, guys. We're trying not to do that, guys.
Yeah, don't get involved in. Yeah, she calls it chismes, gossip, same thing.
We start changing ourselves to a better person. Yep. Be a better person. Stop gossiping.
Yeah, and that's a part of it too.
Stop criticizing people.
Get away from that stuff at work. Yes. Again, she brought it up again. So
really, we apply that to ourselves now.
Well, so when you start,
it was not easy. Sometimes we tempted to talk about people. That, oops, there we go again. Stop this.
Well, even my coach the other day, as we were talking, I brought up a frustration because I have a tendency to want to change the world, and I know I can't. I do. So I'm working on that. But it's not my job to change the world. And my coach,
Superman.
And my coach and mentor was like, Greg, hey, let's not talk about it. Let's just not talk about it. Let's talk about good stuff. And there we go. Bring it back to center. So
avoid talking negative stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're getting off track again. But
but anyway, putting God first. It's not just praying and reading His words every day.
It's not.
We need to involve God in every area of our lives. It's not about just praying.
So it sounds like she's trying to tell me that I've been talking too long. So because she's starting to wrap it up.
And God can do everything for you. Remember, God is unlimited. God is unlimited.
Well, so let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
We've talked about three things. We've talked about activating God in your personal life at home. Everything starts at home. It does. Be that example. If you're a father, I'm going to speak to fathers and husbands. If you're a father, get off your butt. And I took some notes last night, and I'm just going to read. From a father leading the house, build in the dark. And stop announcing things until they're finished. So if you've all of a sudden come to Christ and you've activated Christ, protect that. You don't need to go run around the office on Tuesday morning and say, "Hey, I'm a Christian. Hey, I'm a Christian. Hey, I'm a Christian." And you just activated it Monday night. Protect that passion.
Because
you're still very fragile.
Processing.
So protect that.
In the process.
Don't tell the world what you're doing. Let your actions show the world what you're doing. So protect that, because you go out Tuesday morning and you just activated Christ Monday night, and you tell all your friends that, they're going to go, Greg, you're a complete dork. What are you talking about? You've been drinking and smoking. You're going into the closet with Susie, Mary, whatever it is, and at least the cheese meat says that, and now you want to say that you found Christ. Oh, what a hypocrite. So protect that. You're in process.
You're protecting yourself as well.
You're in process. God has looked at you, and that's saying, I'll tell you, that's just, come as a download. As you come to Christ, ask God for forgiveness. But here's the deal. If you've wronged a whole bunch of people, and I've wronged Jenny, I'm not going to go to God to ask God to forgive me for what I did to Jenny.
That's another topic.
That's a whole other topic. I'm going to ask Jenny for that's a whole other topic.
The amazing reality is to put God first means letting Him take charge of your life.
It is.
Yes. Acknowledge Him before you do anything else.
Yep.
Meaning you have to consult God before you make a big life decision in your lives. Meaning you have to accept direction from God.
Right.
Be willing to. Okay. And if you need a counsel, go to Him first before others.
Yep. And if you have a spouse, go to your spouse. So we're going to wrap this up because I could keep going forever.
Well, before
she's got it down.
Before I go, I got a verse that I want to share. It's right there.
It's right here.
It's 1 Corinthians 10:31. So whether you eat or drink, do it all for the glory of God. Do it all for the glory of God. Amen.
So, man, today's been a good day. I'll wrap it up with just a couple words.
Sorry, guys, my talking is bad, but
she's got some new teeth. We're being very open. She's got some new teeth, so it's looking good. But let's wrap it up with this. Activation is important. Awareness is important.
Acknowledge before you do anything.
Acknowledgement is important. Understanding that you're in process, and protect that dream. You're in process. all you're gaining, get understanding, and remember that you will and can and are shining light and love to yourself and to the world and those around you. Having gratitude for what you have and what you're going to have. And remember all of this as you become a Christian in our daily process. What you can hold in your mind, you can hold in your hand. And that process, Jenny's going to talk more. Maybe we'll talk more next week about meditation and how that works. She's getting to be a rock star in that area.
I love it.
She's the professional. I'm like the amateur.
I will advise you guys after your prayer, you go meditate to start your day.
Well, we're gonna leave you with that because we could talk more, guys. I tell you what, just understand, bringing God into your personal life, into your home, God into your relationships, and God into
your alarms and
your
stuff.
job and careers. My alarm's telling me to quit.
We went over.
It's telling me
overtime.
To quit.
What is that?
So, what is that? That is something that won't record on there. So something came up, but we'll edit that out.
That was a distraction.
But hey, guys, we're gonna wrap up the day.
Put God first in your life.
Yeah, put God first in all you do.
Because we are doing it too.
We are. Well,
we're still learning.
We're chatty today, aren't we?
You are.
We're getting off track.
You can chat too much, guys.
So I'm going to hit the stop record button here. Just make sure you shine light and love in all you do. Bring God into your life and all you do.
In all you do.
And if you have questions or concerns or suggestions or questions on how you can do that in your life, comment below. Get a hold of us.
We might learn from you guys.
We're going to start
learning each other.
As we start building our business, there's a whole reinvention program we have that we're going to teach folks how to reinvent their lives.
It's exciting.
In many areas of their life. But we'll get into that later. So, hey, we love you guys. We appreciate your support. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys soon.
God loves you.
Take it easy, guys.